Admiral Elizabeth Beth Anderson stood at the crystalline windows of the Lunar Command Center, her weathered hands clasped behind her back as she watched Earth rotate peacefully below. The observation deck's quantum glass automatically adjusted its opacity as the sun peeked over the lunar horizon, casting long shadows across the crater-pocked surface. "They're right on schedule," she murmured, more to herself than to Lieutenant Sarah Matthews, who stood nervously at her side. The younger officer's fingers twitched above her neural interface, streams of data flowing through her enhanced vision. "The Empire's scout fleet just passed Neptune's orbit," Admiral Matthews reported, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. 17 vessels, matched perfectly to our historical records of their standard reconnaissance formation. Beth allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, watching from the shadows as the Galactic Empire expanded its territories through a combination of diplomatic manipulation and brute force. They had documented every conquest, every subjugation, every so-called peaceful integration that ended with yet another civilization stripped of its independence. "Signal the Phantom Network," Beth ordered, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of preparation. "All surface installations are to maintain dormant status. Let's show our visitors exactly what they expect to see." Across the solar system, carefully crafted sensor echoes painted a picture of a struggling civilization, pollution-laden cities, primitive satellite networks, and the occasional nuclear-powered space probe. The reality was far different: vast underground metropolises, quantum manufacturing facilities, and dimensional shift generators, all hidden behind veils of technology so advanced it might as well have been magic to the Empire's sensors. The main display flickered to life, showing the Empire's flagship in stunning detail. The massive vessel, 17 kilometers of gleaming metal and crystalline energy conduits, moved with the arrogant grace of unchallenged supremacy. Beth had seen its kind before during covert missions deep within Empire space. She knew every weakness, every blind spot, every flaw in its supposedly impenetrable defenses. "Incoming transmission," Matthews announced. "They're broadcasting on all known frequencies, including several they believe we haven't discovered yet." "Let them think they're clever," Beth said, moving to her command station. The neural interface connected seamlessly with her thoughts, decades of technological refinement making it as natural as breathing. "Begin Surface Protocol 7. Let's give them their show." Across Earth, carefully orchestrated scenes played out. United Nations representatives gathered in an emergency session, their deliberate panic captured by news feeds that would inevitably be intercepted by the Empire's intelligence services. Military forces scrambled in carefully choreographed confusion, their movements designed to suggest capability without revealing true strength. "Signal from Deep Watch Station 1, Matthews reported. "The Empire's cultural analysis programs are already processing our visible transmissions. They're categorizing us as a Class 3 civilization, capable of limited space travel but no immediate threat to their superiority." Beth nodded, satisfaction evident in her steel-blue eyes. "Just as predicted. Humanity's greatest advantage has always been our enemy's tendency to underestimate us." She turned to face the growing collection of officers gathering on the command deck. "Ladies and gentlemen, remember this moment. For 300 years, we've hidden our true nature from the galaxy. We've watched, we've learned, and we've prepared." The Empire's flagship launched its diplomatic shuttle, its golden hull gleaming with the same manufactured magnificence that had dazzled countless other worlds into submission. Beth watched it descend toward the United Nations building in New York, knowing that every movement, every communication, every energy signature was being analyzed by systems far beyond the Empire's comprehension. "Send word to command," she ordered, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had trained their entire life for this moment. "Operation Shadowfall is now active. May our ancestors forgive us for what we must do to prevent their mistakes from being repeated across the stars." As the shuttle disappeared into Earth's atmosphere, Beth allowed herself one final moment of reflection. The Empire thought they were about to begin their standard conquest protocol. Instead, they were about to learn why humanity had chosen to remain hidden for so long, not out of fear, but out of mercy. Dr. James Jack Morrison adjusted his simple black tie as he studied the Empire's delegation entering the United Nations chamber. Their ornate robes, dripping with ceremonial metals and synthetic gems, stood in stark contrast to his understated appearance. The aliens moved with practiced grace, their translator modules humming softly as they prepared to deliver their carefully crafted speech of peace and unity. "Quite the performance," whispered Catherine Hayes, his diplomatic attaché. "They've given this same presentation on 37 other worlds." Jack nodded slightly, his weathered face betraying no emotion. In his breast pocket, a quantum drive held thousands of years of documented Empire atrocities, each one meticulously collected by humanity's deep-cover operatives. "Let them finish their theater," he murmured. "The second act is about to begin." The Empire's lead ambassador, High Delegate Zexer, stepped forward, his species' bioluminescent highlights pulsing with what Jack recognized as smug satisfaction. The massive view screens behind him displayed images of Empire worlds, carefully selected scenes of prosperity and technological advancement. "People of Earth," Zexer's translator conveyed his words in perfect English, "we come offering friendship and advancement. The Galactic Empire welcomes developing civilizations with open arms, sharing our knowledge and protection in exchange for peaceful integration into our grand society." Jack stood, his movement drawing every eye in the chamber. He walked to the central podium with measured steps, each one calculated to project quiet confidence rather than the submissive awe the Empire expected. The quantum drive in his pocket interfaced silently with the chamber's systems, ready to shatter centuries of Imperial propaganda. "High Delegate Zexer," Jack's voice carried clearly, without technological assistance. "Before you continue, I believe we should discuss the Centauri massacre." The ambassador's bioluminescence flickered in surprise, then confusion. "I'm not familiar with." 342 years ago, Jack continued as the screens behind him came to life with archived footage, your Empire's peacekeeping fleet rendered an entire civilization extinct because they refused to surrender their automated defense networks. We watched it happen. The chamber erupted in murmurs as the screens displayed crystal-clear images of Empire warships delivering their peaceful integration to a burning world. Zexer's fellow ambassadors shifted uncomfortably, their carefully maintained composure cracking. Or perhaps, Jack's tone remained conversational, "We should examine the neural subjugation of the Proxima colonies. The genetic purge of the Sirius Republic. The cultural erasure of the Vega Confederation." With each named atrocity, more footage appeared. More evidence materialized. More proof that humanity had been watching, documenting, and preparing. Zexer's voice wavered. "These are fabrications. Your civilization lacks the technology to..." "To what?" Jack interrupted, allowing a small smile. "To maintain cloaked observation posts throughout your territory? To tap into your quantum communication networks? To preserve the history you've tried so hard to bury?" He gestured to the screens, now showing tactical data of Empire fleet movements spanning centuries. "We've been watching you, High Delegate. Every conquest. Every subjugation. Every act of Imperial expansion disguised as benevolent integration." The Empire's delegation huddled together, their private communications betrayed by the subtle twitching of their neural implants. Jack knew their encrypted channels were flooding with urgent messages, demands for explanations, and calls for immediate military intervention. "This is your only warning," Jack's voice hardened. "Leave the solar system. Never return. Test us, and you will understand why humanity chose to remain hidden for so long." New York, London, Tokyo, and dozens of other cities, across the planet, the impact was simultaneous. Explosions erupted with devastating force, sending massive clouds of debris into the sky, visible even from orbit. "Holographic overlay performing at full capacity," reported Lieutenant Commander James Wilson from his station. "Environmental simulators are replicating the expected destruction patterns perfectly. The Empire's sensors are detecting exactly what they anticipate: devastation and chaos." Marcus watched as the Empire's fleet adjusted position, preparing for their second wave of attacks. Their formation was flawless, their strategy precise, by their own standards. But they were fighting shadows and echoes, attacking cities that were nothing more than illusions, crafted from light and energy. Signal from their command ship, Jessica reported. She paused, a rare smirk crossing her face. They're demanding our surrender and expressing disappointment in our primitive defenses. Time to give them something worth their concern, Marcus decided. He activated a secure channel to Earth's underground defense networks. This is General Reynolds. Execute Protocol Phantom Strike. Authorization Echo 7 Delta. Across the globe, concealed installations activated. Quantum energy matrices, carefully hidden beneath the surface, began their work, subtly but effectively dismantling the Empire's sensor networks. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, their targeting systems started to drift. Their readings became unreliable. Their advanced technology, once their greatest strength, was turning against them. Their second wave is launching, Jessica announced. She frowned at her display. Wait, their shots are going wide. Nothing within 50 kilometers of their intended targets. Marcus nodded in satisfaction. The quantum interference is working. Now, let's add to their confusion. Launch the ghost drones. From hidden silos around the planet, thousands of automated decoys took flight. To the Empire's failing sensors, they appeared indistinguishable from primitive nuclear warheads, a desperate last stand by a civilization on the brink of annihilation. Just as expected. Their fleet is breaking formation, Jessica reported, an edge of excitement in her voice. They're scrambling to intercept the missiles, but their systems are too compromised. Their targeting is erratic. Ships are colliding with each other. Marcus watched the chaos unfold. The Empire's fleet, the supposed pride of the galaxy, was unraveling. Not through superior firepower, but through its own arrogance, its blind faith in technology. Humanity had turned their assumptions against them. Send word to Admiral Anderson, he ordered. Phase 3 is complete. The enemy fleet is right where we want them, trapped in high orbit, formation shattered, systems compromised. He exhaled, eyes steady. They're ready for Phase 4. As the Empire's ships struggled against invisible forces beyond their understanding, Marcus allowed himself a moment of reflection. They had expected a primitive foe wielding nuclear warheads and chemical rockets. Instead, they were about to learn why humanity had spent centuries in the shadows, hiding its true capabilities. The real war had yet to begin. Colonel Jennifer Jenny Hayes moved like a ghost through the corridors of the Empire's flagship. Her quantum phase suit rendered her completely invisible to both organic eyes and electronic sensors. Around her, alien crew members rushed in frantic disarray, their systems failing one after another. Approaching the central data core, she sub-vocalized into her neural implant. Status report. Engineering section secured, whispered Lieutenant Michael Rodriguez. Their quantum drives are fully compromised. They just don't know it yet. Bridge team in position, added Captain Sarah Foster. Ready to initiate lockdown on your mark. Jenny smirked as she passed a group of Empire technicians arguing over a malfunctioning sensor panel. They had no idea that humanity had been infiltrating their ships for decades, studying their technology, planting dormant system overrides. Today, those hidden modifications were coming to life. She reached the core, a towering crystalline structure pulsing with streams of data. The Empire considered it impenetrable, safeguarded by security layers no so-called pre-FTL civilization should be able to breach. Jenny pressed a quantum decoder to the access port. The device, no larger than her palm, held the processing power of an entire city block from 3 centuries ago. Beginning primary interface. Through her enhanced vision, she watched as the decoder unraveled 300 years of security protocols in mere seconds. The defenses, deemed unbreakable, collapsed with ease. Enemy response incoming, Rodriguez warned. Security teams en route to your position. Jenny checked her phase suit's energy reserves. Right on schedule. Initialize protocol revelation. Across the ship, artificial gravity fluctuated as human overrides seized control. Bulkheads sealed shut, trapping security teams. Crew members floated helplessly, their weapons useless as their own systems turned against them. Jenny activated the ship-wide intercom. "This is Colonel Jennifer Hayes of the Earth Defense Force." Her voice resonated through every speaker, flawlessly translated into the Empire's language. "Your vessel is now under our control. And this scenario is playing out across your entire fleet." She stepped onto the bridge, deactivating her invisibility. Stunned Empire officers turned to face her, their weapons now powerless, their control slipping away. "Your Empire has conquered worlds, erased cultures, and called it progress." Her voice was steady, unwavering. "But Earth is different. We saw you coming. We have always seen you coming." The ship's main viewer flickered to life, broadcasting similar scenes across the enemy fleet, human operatives appearing from nowhere, seizing control of vessels that had been compromised long before they reached Earth. "Your sensors failed to detect our cities because they're not on the surface," Jenny continued. "Your scans missed our fleet because we have mastered technology you dismissed as theoretical. Every ship in your armada has been harboring human observers for years, watching, waiting, preparing." The Empire's admiral, his ornate uniform doing little to conceal his trembling, finally found his voice. "Impossible, you're a pre-FTL species. Our intelligence." "Your intelligence saw exactly what we wanted you to see," Jenny cut him off. "Earth isn't humanity's last stronghold, it's our warning system. And you just triggered the alarm." As if to drive the point home, new contacts appeared on the ship's sensors. Across the solar system, once hidden installations shed their cloaking fields. Immense stations, eclipsing the scale of the Empire's mightiest structures, now stood revealed. The true face of human civilization had finally emerged. And it was far beyond anything the Empire had imagined. Commander Thomas "Tom" Bradley stood at the helm of the Hyperion Command Station, nestled within Saturn's rings. For centuries, the colossal installation had remained invisible, its quantum camouflage making it indistinguishable from the surrounding ice and rock. Now, as he watched the Empire's fleet flounder against humanity's countermeasures, he knew that generations of preparation were finally coming to fruition. "Status on the gravitational web," he asked, neural interfaces streaming tactical data directly into his mind. The moment had arrived. The war was no longer about survival. It was about dominance. Lieutenant Emma Richardson responded swiftly from her station, her hands gliding over the holographic controls. "Quantum anchor points are locked in place. The Empire fleet is completely entangled. Every time they try to break formation, the gravitational eddies pull them back into our kill box." Tom nodded, observing as the supposedly mighty Empire armada struggled in an invisible web of warped spacetime. Their ships fired thrusters desperately, but physics itself seemed to conspire against them. Centuries of human advancements in gravitational manipulation had turned this sector of space into a cosmic chessboard, one where humanity controlled every move. "Launch the quantum strike platforms," Tom commanded. "Let's show them what real space warfare looks like." From hidden bays scattered throughout Saturn's rings, sleek vessels emerged. Each platform, no larger than a shuttle, housed more computational power than the entire Empire fleet combined. Moving with unnatural grace, their quantum drives allowed them to ignore conventional laws of motion. "Platforms in position," reported Captain David Chen. "Targeting solutions locked. The Empire's shields are operating at full power, but they might as well be tissue paper against our weapons." Tom opened a channel to all human forces in the system. "All units, execute Battle Plan Phoenix. Remember your training, we're not here to destroy them, only to demonstrate why they should never have threatened Earth." The quantum strike platforms opened fire. Beams of coherent energy, guided by artificial intelligences capable of predicting quantum fluctuations, struck with surgical precision. Empire shields, designed to counter every known weapon, offered no resistance against attacks that technically didn't exist in normal spacetime until after they had already hit their targets. Their flagship is attempting to coordinate a counterattack, Emma announced, amusement lacing her voice. Their targeting computers are still trying to use standard ballistic calculations against our platforms. Show me their command channel, Tom requested. His neural interface complied, bringing up a holographic window filled with panicked Empire communications. Impossible, an Empire commander shouted. Their weapons can't exist. The energy readings violate every known law of physics. That's because we wrote some new ones, Tom muttered to himself before addressing his crew. Initialize the quantum cascade. Let's end this demonstration. Across the battlefield, space itself rippled. The quantum strike platforms synchronized their attacks, creating a cascade of intersecting energy fields. Empire ships found their weapon systems spontaneously powering down, their engines shifting into safe mode. Their once mighty technology was rendered useless by forces they couldn't begin to comprehend. Message from Admiral Anderson, Emma reported. The underground cities are beginning their emergence sequence. We're cleared to proceed with the final phase. Tom allowed himself a small smile. Send the surrender template to all Empire vessels. Let them know their ships will be returned to their control once they accept our terms. As the transmission went out, he recalled his grandfather's words, the Empire thinks they know war because they've won 1,000 battles. But humanity, we've spent centuries learning how to end wars before they even begin. The Empire fleet hung motionless in space, their once mighty warships reduced to little more than elaborate viewing platforms from which their crews could witness humanity's true power. Below them, Earth's surface began to transform. Hidden cities rose from beneath the oceans, massive structures emerged from mountain ranges, revealing the true scale of human civilization. Sir, Emma called out. We're receiving surrender signals from 60% of the Empire vessels. Now 70, 85 and climbing. Tom nodded, satisfaction evident in his expression. Inform Admiral Anderson that Phase 5 is complete. The Empire has learned its lesson about underestimating so-called primitive species. Now we can begin the real work, reshaping the galaxy. Captain Alexandra Alex Mitchell moved through the crowded halls of Imperial Central Command like a ghost, her quantum disguise rendering her just another harried staff officer. The massive space station orbiting the Empire's throne world buzzed with frantic activity as reports of the Earth campaign's catastrophic failure flooded in. Strategic Command Center is ahead, she sub-vocalized to her infiltration team, scattered throughout the station. Reading 37 high-ranking officers inside. They're calling for everything they've got. Her neural implants processed the station's security feeds, which her team had compromised months ago. On dozens of screens, she watched the Empire's leadership scramble, desperate to salvage their reputation. Fleet after fleet was being redirected from across the galaxy, stripping defenses from countless occupied worlds. They're mobilizing the reserve armada, Lieutenant James Cooper reported over their quantum-encrypted channel. 5,000 capital ships, including 3 planet crackers. They're throwing everything at Earth. Alex smiled beneath her disguise as she entered the command center. The Empire's most powerful leaders stood around a massive holographic display. Their ornate uniforms did little to hide their growing panic. The display showed the gathering armada, the largest fleet ever assembled in Imperial history. The humans must have stolen this technology. Grand Admiral Vexthor roared, his scaled skin flushed with anger. No species could advance so far without our knowledge. We control all major trade routes, all scientific developments. Negative, sir, a junior officer interjected, her voice trembling. Analysis of their quantum weapons suggests they are at least 3 centuries ahead of our most advanced research. These aren't stolen designs. They are completely original technologies. Alex positioned herself near the room's edge. Her quantum sensors recording everything. The Empire's leadership was behaving exactly as human psychologists had predicted, refusing to accept that they had been outmaneuvered by a species they once dismissed as primitive. The reserve armada will crush them. Vexthor declared. No defense can withstand that much firepower. Begin the jump sequence as soon as all ships are assembled. All units in position, Cooper updated. Ready to transmit on your mark. Alex checked her neural countdown. Everything was proceeding according to Admiral Anderson's timetable. Send the signal, she ordered. Let's show them what they're really up against. Throughout the command center, every screen and holographic display flickered. The image of the assembled armada vanished, replaced by something that made the Empire's leaders physically recoil. Footage of human stealth ships, shadowing every major Empire fleet for decades. Logs detailing massive human installations built in supposedly secure Empire space. Documentation of quantum technology so advanced it rendered their most powerful weapons obsolete. This is impossible. Vex Thor whispered, his authority crumbling as the evidence mounted. No, Admiral, Alex said, deactivating her disguise. The Empire officers spun to face her, weapons drawn, useless against her quantum shield. This is the consequence of arrogance, she continued. We could have revealed ourselves centuries ago, but we chose to watch and wait, to understand what kind of civilization you really were. Security forces rushed into the room, only to freeze as their neural implants detected phantom threats in every direction. Alex's team had compromised their combat systems months ago. Your reserve armada is impressive, she said, stepping toward the central display. But while you've been gathering it, we've been activating sleeper cells throughout your territory. Human agents are aboard every single ship in your fleet. Your weapons are ours. Your shields are ours. She let the weight of reality sink in before delivering the final blow. Your empire, she said, was never really yours to begin with. The display shifted once more, showing real-time footage of human forces emerging across Empire space. Hidden bases activated, cloaked ships decloaked, and decades of careful positioning became horrifyingly clear. The war wasn't ending. It had never even truly begun. The Empire's leaders watched in stunned silence as their once mighty civilization was revealed to be hopelessly infiltrated. You have 1 hour to surrender, Alex stated, her voice carrying the authority of a civilization that had outmaneuvered them at every turn. After that, we begin dismantling your empire piece by piece. Not through violence, we're long past needing that. We'll simply show your subjugated worlds the truth about their supposed masters. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Admiral, those 3 planet crackers you're so proud of? We replaced their cores with training simulators 2 years ago. Your greatest weapons have been glorified light shows this entire time. Major William Will Parker stood on the bridge of the Nightshade, his stealth cruiser hidden within the heart of the Empire's largest shipyard. For 3 centuries, humanity had placed vessels like his throughout Empire space, watching, waiting, and preparing for this moment. All Shadow Fleet units report ready, Lieutenant Rebecca Santos announced from her tactical station. Hidden bases across 17 sectors are awaiting your command. Will nodded, his neural implants processing status reports from thousands of human operatives embedded throughout the Empire. Send the activation code. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity has been building in plain sight. Across the Empire, seemingly abandoned outposts stirred to life, asteroid mining facilities revealed themselves as advanced military bases, and primitive trading posts transformed into command centers. Every overlooked corner of the Empire's territory concealed humanity's hidden strength. First wave emerging now, Rebecca reported, excitement in her voice. Quantum drives online. Dimensional shift successful. The Nightshade's sensors showed human ships appearing inside Empire formations across the galaxy. Vessels that had been invisible for decades suddenly materialized, their quantum technology making them appear as if they had stepped from another dimension. Channel open to all Empire frequencies, Communications Officer Daniel Peterson announced. We're broadcasting in real time to every world in their territory. Will straighten his uniform. This is Major William Parker of the Earth Defense Force. For centuries, your empire has dominated the galaxy through force and fear, dismissing primitive species as unworthy of notice. That ends today. On countless worlds, citizens watched in awe as human ships emerged from dimensional shifts, moving with impossible grace. Empire military installations found themselves surrounded by forces that had always been there, hidden behind veils of quantum deception. Receiving reports from our deep cover agents, Rebecca said. Operation Shadow Dawn is proceeding as planned. Empire resistance is minimal, they're still trying to process what they're seeing. Through his neural interface, we'll monitor the chaos unfolding in real time. Hidden human enclaves on Empire colony worlds revealed themselves among the so-called primitive species. Advanced human technologies activated, reshaping the balance of power. The galaxy was witnessing the emergence of a shadow civilization that had grown right under the Empire's nose. Message from Harbinger Base in the Centauri sector, Daniel reported. The liberated worlds are responding exactly as predicted. They're already calling for the Empire's leadership to surrender. Will allowed himself a small smile. Show me the Empire's primary fleet movements. A holographic display materialized, showing the Empire's mighty armada scattered and confused. Their formations, designed to counter conventional attacks, were meaningless against an enemy that could appear anywhere, at any time, with technology they couldn't understand. Sir, Rebecca called, we're detecting quantum signatures from Earth. Admiral Anderson is initiating the final phase. Acknowledge and prepare for synchronized revelation, Will ordered. All Shadow Fleet units, execute Pattern Omega. Show them everything. Across the galaxy, human ships demonstrated their technological superiority. Quantum weapons disabled Empire vessels without destroying them. Dimensional shift drives made mockery of their defensive formations. Centuries of human innovation revealed themselves in a display of power that was as much art as it was military strategy. Empire command channels are in chaos, Daniel reported. Their generals can't believe what they're seeing. Some are calling it magic. Any sufficiently advanced technology appears as magic to those who don't understand it, Will quoted. But we're not here to mystify them. Signal all units, begin transmission of the historical archives. Throughout Empire space, the truth spread. Records of human observation posts dating back centuries. Documentation of how humanity had watched the Empire's expansion and prepared accordingly. Evidence of a civilization that had chosen to hide, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Sir, Rebecca said softly, look at the civilian channels. Will turned his attention to public broadcasts. On thousands of worlds, Empire citizens were learning the truth. They watched in stunned silence as humanity revealed how deeply they had infiltrated every aspect of Empire society, not to conquer, but to prepare for this moment of revelation. Director Catherine Kate Sullivan stood before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds in the newly established Galactic Assembly. The vast chamber, constructed within an ancient space station that humanity had secretly maintained for centuries, sparkled under the light of 3 distant suns. Former Empire worlds sat alongside long-hidden human colonies and newly liberated civilizations, all united in this historic moment. The age of Empire is over, Kate declared, her voice carrying clearly without technological assistance, a subtle reminder of humanity's mastery over even the smallest details. But we are not here to replace one dominion with another. We're here to build something better. Holographic displays surrounding the chamber showed real-time footage from across the galaxy. Empire military installations transformed into centers of learning. Quantum technology, once hidden, now helped restore worlds damaged by centuries of exploitation. Human ships worked alongside former Empire vessels to establish new trade routes and communication networks. Your empire was built on fear, she continued, addressing the former imperial leadership. You believed power came from dominance, that progress required submission. But while you were conquering worlds, humanity was learning from them. Ambassador Chen, representing the former Empire core worlds, stood. How? How did you hide such advancement from us for so long? Kate smiled. Because you saw what you expected to see. When your ships encountered primitive colonies on the edges of your space, you never questioned why they all seemed to develop at the same rate. When your trading posts reported standard technological progression from newly discovered worlds, you never wondered why the pattern was so consistent. She gestured, and the display shifted, showing centuries of careful human manipulation. Countless worlds where humanity had established hidden outposts, guiding development while maintaining the illusion of primitive societies. Each one a piece of an intergenerational plan to prevent the Empire from becoming too powerful too quickly. "We could have revealed ourselves centuries ago," Kate explained. "We could have fought your fleets, matched your conquest with resistance. Instead, we chose a longer path. We studied your civilization, understood its flaws, and prepared not just to stop you, but to help you grow beyond the need for empire." The chamber erupted into discussion. Representatives from formerly subjugated worlds realized that their resistance movements had been quietly supported by human operatives for generations. "The quantum technology we've revealed is only the beginning," Kate continued once the chamber quieted. "We've spent centuries developing not just advanced science, but new ways of thinking about civilization itself, ways to help species grow without the need for competition or conquest." The display shifted to show Earth, now revealed in its true glory. The cradle of humanity stood as a testament to patience and preparation, its surface dotted with cities seamlessly blending technology with nature. "This is our offer," Kate declared. "Not surrender. Not submission. But partnership. A chance to build something that will last, not because it's enforced by power, but because it's sustained by wisdom. Each world maintaining its independence while working together for the good of all." One by one, the representatives stood. Former enemies and hidden allies alike rose to their feet, united not by force, but by the possibility of something greater than empire. As Kate watched them begin their first true collaboration, she thought of the generations of humans who had worked in secret for this moment. They had hidden not in fear, but in hope. And now, that hope was becoming reality.